Name's Matthew Ingram. Grew up downstate. Parents separated when I was young. My childhood, with it being broken, I grew up with 3 older brothers and a younger sister. And when I was young, growing up, going through school, mom got cancer. So I grew up really quick as a kid. Had to take care of mom after school. Older brothers had jobs. And then, I was born and raised in the church. And then as soon as I could get away, I got away. I watched my parents get divorced when I was, I think, 13. And then it was a struggle for me because I thought family was supposed to be, mom and dad together all the time. So with me having to take care of my mom after school, that was the toughest part. That's why I had to grow up so quick. It made my childhood disappear and I didn't have it. So that's why I started partying after I got out of school. And I left the church because I didn't want nothing to do with it. I didn't feel it was for me. I didn't feel that I needed to follow Jesus to be able to live my life. I wanted everything that he didn't want me to have. When I was 16 or 17, I was going to take my own life because I got tired of the struggle. Got tired of watching my parents fight. The divorce wasn't over yet. And miraculously, somehow, I'm still here today. And I'm glad I am. Or else I would have never met my wife and I wouldn't have the 3 boys that I have. I ended up meeting her, and she was still is a very godly woman and wants everything to do with raising our boys right. And I've gotten to that point too. I was the one that would just show up to church on Sundays for her and not for me. Didn't want nothing to do with it. And then I finally realized after, getting into our marriage after 2 kids and, things weren't going very well for me. Just doing a lot of drinking still. And it came down to I had to quit with the love and support of my wife and my kids and some church members. I'm going on, just celebrated 4 years of being sober, 11 years of marriage. Been going to Tabernacle for, I think, 5-6 years now, more like 5. Got invited by a good friend of mine. We grew up together downstate. We used to do a lot of fishing together. And he invited me. He's been an influence in my life too. I talked to him about God things and everything else. And if it wasn't for him inviting us to come to the church, we probably would have never found the church. And again, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at with my walk with the Lord. And I believe I want more Jesus in my life. I feel like my heart's thriving for more. I talk to some of my personal family members about it, and sometimes I get laughed at. Sometimes they're like, what do you need that for? But I watch them live their life. It's like I don't want that, what they have. I want what me and my wife have is, we want Jesus. I have people ask me all the time, what do you do for work? What do you do on the weekends and this and that? One of the things I tell them is, as a family we go to church together. And they're like, I ain't gonna go to church. I walk into the church building, thunder's gonna strike it and it's gonna burn down. Well, guess what, people? It ain't burned down, and I've been coming for a long time. If you see somebody struggling in life and you're trying to talk to them, figure out what's going on, just invite them. Don't be scared to invite somebody to come to church. If you think it's not going to be right for them, let them make that decision.